Perfect. Then we're coming to the pitches and the introductions, and I would like to ask Véronique on stage. Véronique Bruyas is the Global Digital Leader, Transformation Leader of Sanofi. So Véronique, welcome. I saw you this morning. Now I see you again, unfortunately only virtual, but still. Thank you very much for introducing Sanofi, and stage is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frédérique. So I hope you can hear me well. And thank you, Christopher, for setting the stage today and delivering your keynote. It was very inspirational. So as a matter of introduction, I'm pleased to present you Sanofi Consumer Healthcare today. So what do we do every day? Maybe not saving children's life every day, but we are helping consumers facing the healthcare challenge they have every day. So be it on the allergies or digestive health, body pain. And how we are looking at digital health now is really to be able to meet behavior and expectation that have been changing over the last couple of years and that have been actually quite accelerated through the COVID, I would say, time that we had since more than a year right now. And technology, the way we see it, be it digital or technology, hardware, is actually a way to fit this evolution and to meet consumer need. So how would we look at digital health? Basically, we are focusing on consumer need that I think, Christopher, you mentioned it quite well. So it's always what triggers, I will say, our motivation and our project. Consumers today in our field are looking at improving their quality of life and actually go beyond the pill to actually try to prevent a chronic condition to happen. And then the consumer wants to be treated quite differently, understanding their symptoms and managing to better manage their condition. They want to be empowered to take better self-care decisions. So our purpose is actually to support the education and help them make the right diagnostic so that they can self-treat. We look also at convenience as a key way to actually improve the accessibility to our product and our medication. And we have been focusing recently on that to help consumer and patient find the right treatment at the right time. And finally, as we see overall in the healthcare industry and other, let's say, more traditional industries, personalization is becoming unique and a key differentiation point for our consumer to provide the right experience they need and to provide the right treatment that every patient and consumer needs. So the way we have been designing our digital health program as part of Plug and Play is actually to fulfill this need that we could not address with our, let's say, traditional pill-only portfolio. So after now 2 years of actually deep engagement with Plug and Play and the ecosystem as founding member, I would like to share a bit more about the stars that we have added to our galaxy. So what you see on this page are the vast majority of all the startups and partners that have been joining us on this adventure. So you can see that after 2 years, it's quite a lot. And I really want to thank every startup and every people that we have met as part of our batches in different locations, so Munich, but not only. And I would like to sincerely thank them for all the engagement that they had with us, I will say, through these 2 years. And I'm also thinking of our colleagues that are attending the session today. I want to thank them also for having the passion and the engagement and commitment to make it a success. So after 2 years, we have built this galaxy of really great relationship. And again, I want to acknowledge all the work that has been done. So before we hear from 2 of our startups today, I want to share, I will say, where we are in our digital transformation journey. And yes, after 2 years, it's still, I will say, early stage. I want to make sure that you keep these 3 big topics in mind moving forward. It's all about the people. Okay, so yes, there is technology, but actually it's really about people and making sure that we build a trustworthy relationship, that we provide the right ways of working. So we made a huge investment in Agile, for example. We always, I will say, cherish education opportunity, and Plug and Play is a great way for us to do that, as it is today. Relationship start with people, but it's really about building trust and, let's say, creating a trustworthy environment where every party can win. And finally, yes, we need to build resilience. Every day we have new challenges. What matters is really to get traction early stage. So making sure that what we design are really what consumers need and that we continue to iterate. So with that, again, thank you for the opportunity today. I look forward to hear the pitch of Garamentis and Unima today. And please ask any question that you may have, because it's a great opportunity to learn today again. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronique, for this introduction. It was also very inspiring, and you're absolutely right. It's all about the people, and I hope that we can host you here in person, also for your team to experience all of this in real life, and not only virtually and in person. So with that being said, I would like to hand over to my dear colleague Fabian Scheugenpflug, who is leading the Health Ventures activities here in Munich, for the startup introductions as well as the Q&A. So welcome on stage here with me, Fabian. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, good midday, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Fabian Scheugenpflug. I'm the Ventures Associate, and together with our team, I'm responsible for all the startups you're seeing today to overtake the matchmaking part, and also to in the end assist our partners to really identify the right partners for their programs, for their deal flows to partner up with. So that's it from my side. We're going to hear on a general note today 11 amazing startups that went through all the program. The structure of each and every single pitch is as follows. We are going to see a 2-minute intro video provided by the startup and the pilot owner. That is followed by a 5-minute pitch by the founder, by the team of the startup, and then we will have a 2-minute Q&A session. For the Q&A, as you see here, we're using Meet Anyway. So please just feel free to go to the main stage. Below the main stage, there's a button called Q&A and polls. Go to the open button, open the interface, and you can just directly type in your questions that I'm then addressing to the startup. I will see everything here on the iPad, so it's very interactive. So with that being said, I'd like to bring up a sentence that Veronique actually touched base on, and it is around acceleration due to COVID, and especially digitalization. We believe that digitalization will not stop here, and it will also change the way we perceive things when it comes to normality again afterwards. That's also a space where Garamantis is in. So they're especially tackling the digitalization in brick and mortar stores, and in particular for this challenge in the space of pharmacies. So with that being said, I would like to hand it over to Norbert, the Chief of Innovation. We will see the video first, and then he will give the quick presentation about Garamantis.
Garamantis is a Berlin-based company specialized in interactive technologies for live touchpoints, such as showrooms, trade fairs, and retail surroundings.
Together with Garamantis, we are touching the concept of pharmacy of the future. The target is to make shopper experience more friendly and pleasant, addressing the main pain points in store and driving sales both for a pharmacy and Sanofi.
In the future, customers should not only attend pharmacies to buy products, they should also be given the opportunity to visit the store and learn more about keeping their body and mind healthy, or meet a community of like-minded people in a welcoming surrounding.
Fantastic.
So hi guys, do you remember the last time, probably before the Corona crisis, you visited a shop, a museum, or a corporate showroom and had a fantastic digital supported experience, for instance with the screen or any other interactive technologies? Well, that is what exactly what Garamantis stands for, and it's a pleasure for me to present our work today. Before I start, I would like to express a big shout out to Plug and Play Munich and our partner Sanofi. The organization of the last 3 or 4 months was truly exceptional, and we really appreciate all the hard work you guys put in. My name is Norbert. I'm Chief Innovation Officer at Garamantis. We are a Berlin-based company that specializes in interactive technologies. Our purpose is to convince and inspire shoppers, visitors, or any other stakeholders at the so-called live touchpoint. Trade fairs, events, and your own showroom. Even though we see a big shift towards online business in almost every industry these days, we still believe that live offers the best and most valuable touchpoints with your customer and your target groups. We love to work with our clients from the very first ideas to the rollout, and consider ourselves as an enabler for your goals, tech-related goals, in order to create meaningful and sustainable customer experiences. With our solution, we enable visitors and other stakeholders to dive into brand and product worlds in a very playful, immersive, and intuitive way. By using interactive technologies such as multi-touch, projections, virtual reality, augmented reality, or mixed reality, and all kinds of sense attacks, we support our client in creating successful corporate innovation. And as I've been working in innovation for 15 years, I can tell you that it's very important for me to say that we do not only use tech for the sake of just producing cool stuff. Of course, we know that an innovation is not just a tech-driven invention. Instead, it is the creation and delivery of new customer value in the marketplace, and has to include a sustainable business model for the enterprise producing it. Therefore, we always have the business part in mind when we work with our clients and partners. Let me show you some of our latest projects. Together with our Austrian partner, Ars Electronica, we built the showroom of the European Space Agency in Italy. By using custom-built screens and projections, we supported ESA in telling their story in an immersive way and created a unique visitor experience. Corporate exhibitions are also on our list of services. For SAP, we equipped their corporate exhibition with interactive screens and made it possible for visitors to dive deeper into the history of the company. One of my favorite projects back in 2020, before the pandemic actually, was the one we did with the Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development during the International Green Week in Berlin. That's a famous trade fair for sustainability topics. So we built a climate dome, including a multi-sensorial virtual reality experience. Up to 12 visitors were able to enter the dome, put on a VR glass, a device, and watch the 360-degree video about the consequences or impacts of climate change on the island of Madagascar. While experiencing the short film, the climate dome created smell, heat, wind, and therefore made it possible for all the viewers to immerse totally into the scenery. Sometimes we also offer technical support for high-level presentations. In those projects, I refer to Garamantis as the invisible mission control in the back. Most of the projects involve politicians, such as in this case, the President of Germany, who participated in an interactive presentation by German Air Force. Together with our partner in Singapore and also here in Germany, we work for several luxury brands and create unique shopper experiences at their flagship stores. One of my favorite POS installation is our interactive showcase, which invites shoppers to dive deeper into certain product features by using invisible touch technology that is integrated in the glass. Of course, Corona led to a big shift from live towards digital and virtual, and which is why we also focused on solutions for virtual events in 2020. The biggest project we did was for the German federal government. We created the virtual gallery of unity, which served as a digital expansion of all the events that took place to celebrate 30 years of German unity. So having said all of this, you may ask yourself, what the heck qualifies those guys to participate in a program that is meant for, startups who work in the pharma and healthcare industry? Well, to be honest, so did we when Sanofi and Plug and Play approached us back in summer or late summer. We still consider ourselves as the paradise birds in this batch, and still are very proud to be part of such an inspiring community. So let's go back to the question I asked in the beginning. Do you remember the last time you visited a pharmacy, in this case, and had a fantastic experience with, for instance, a digital screen or any other interactive technology? Well, most of us will probably say no to that, because we will not have the best memories regarding a modern digital shopping experience in brick and mortar pharmacy, because the vast majority of pharmacies is still operating in a very traditional way. This is why we were really excited when Sanofi invited us to work on digital solutions for the pharmacy in a co-creation process. during the first kickoff and during the first events and deep dives, we decided to take a design thinking approach for the test and learn phase. We focused on the most important challenges for pharmacy shoppers, defined our main target groups, and started to create moonshots in a fun ideation session. It's always great to feed the idea funnel with futuristic approaches, as you can imagine. And it was pretty difficult for us to break down the top ideas to a level that enables us to technologically scale the solution and create a sustainable business model. With the first drafts in hand, we did a market research. Sanofi ran a market research for us in the beginning of January, and that provided us with great insights into how our solution is perceived by pharmacists and also shoppers. We're now able to say that the pilot project in selected French pharmacies of different sizes would be able from a technological point of view, and we look forward to Sanofi's decision on whether or not we move on in this project. So having said all of this, usually when looking at the normal Garomantis project, we usually support our clients from kickoff to wow, as we say. And in the Sanofi project, we did the first two parts, consulting and concept and design planning. And we would now start developing the software, do the hardware integration, set up the content management system, and do the rollout. So I'm happy to answer all your questions. This is, by the way, our team, our founders, and Andreas also is here to answer all your questions. And I'm happy to chat with you in our virtual booth and also take your questions now. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Norbert. And you might be the paradise bird, but I can assure you, you're absolutely right with us here, and we love to have you on board.
It's a pleasure.
With that being said, we actually already have the first questions coming in, and one of them is like, how do you see with the latest trends and also online shopping? How do you see in the future brick and mortar shops compete with that, and what are like the changes you see?
I guess the right answer to that is always that we are human beings, and we still need the personal contact, even though it's difficult in these times. Of course, there needs to be an omni-channel approach, having your mobile device in mind and connecting it in a most intelligent possible way with digital experiences in store.
Yeah, totally agree, especially about the part that we need that interaction as well. Another question that goes a little bit more in your expansion idea. So how do you see well, your products, your services expand to or scale up to a more nationwide global approach?
I think it is about standardizing the hardware. From a software perspective, it's always easy to scale, but our bottleneck is always hardware, to be honest, and then it's always up to costs. So the question is always, how can we scale and still make sure that the quality is high?
Okay, so I presume it's all about the right partner in the end, right?
Exactly, it's about suppliers, building a great network of suppliers and having a close relationship with them, especially in times of Corona.
Fantastic, yeah. One last question, and I know it's then already over again. I'm really sorry about that. But the question is around, we've seen your dome, and then the question is here, would you see similar application being useful for obesity, or would that be something where you would be interested in exploring that?
Yeah, definitely. That's, I mean, again, the cool thing about every project I just showed you is that it is transferable to every other industry. And here is where so we do not see ourselves as a software development company, but more of a creative concept company that helps you translating technology into useful and immersive and playful stories for your brand and for your company.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pavel and all the others. We have only a short time for the questions here, but we have those startup booths. So please go to them, engage with Norbert and the team, and ask further questions. Also to all the other startups, you can see their pitch decks there, and also directly work with them and well, network with them. So Norbert,
we are here. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that being said, we're already at the second startup for Sanofi. It is a Chile-based company. It's called Unima, and Unima developed a platform that has the capabilities to really revolutionize the way we see diagnostics. How this is working and what Unima tackled with Sanofi, José Luis will tell you all about it after the video.
Our technology allows anyone with very little technical training to diagnose a disease directly at the point of care in under 15 minutes and at a very, very low cost.
Sanofi and Unima are collaborating to bring directly to the consumer a diagnostic test for viral disease. So we're trying to help the consumers diagnose their viral disease very early on.
The impact of our work with Sanofi will be in having a diagnostic tool that will give more access to a timely diagnostic for a lot of people, and therefore they will be able to have treatment earlier and have better outcomes in the development of their disease.
Jose, fantastic. All right. So Jose, we see your slides. We cannot see you yet.
Hi, I hope you can see me now. Sorry,
yeah, we do.
Problems here. Sorry about this. I'm having some problems here with the computer.
No worries. Take your time. We've just seen your slides, so I think it's working on our end.
Okay, perfect. That's it. So, hello everyone. I'm José Luis Nuño, CEO and one of the 4 co-founders of Unima. In Unima, we are working to solve the problem of lack of access to a timely diagnostic for more than half of the world's population. Current diagnostic technologies are very precise, and these can detect almost any disease known. But the problem is that these technologies normally require specialized labs, equipment, and technicians, which centralizes the complete experience and the complete process of diagnostics in labs. So something that we have learned about this during the coronavirus pandemic is that we need to be able to deploy diagnostics everywhere to increase the possibility of finding people with the disease and the possibility of treatment as early as possible. So to solve this problem, we developed FIND. FIND is this fast and low-cost diagnostic and disease surveillance technology, which allows anyone to do diagnostics directly where the patient is without using lab equipment, with results in 15 minutes and at $1 per test. So with this technology, we are working to take diagnostics out of the lab and to the place they are needed most, even in the most remote areas of the world. So the technology platform uses, on one side, we're using shark antibodies that we can modify with genetic engineering to detect disease biomarkers in urine, blood, or saliva samples. So we adapt these shark antibodies to detect the biomarker and generate a visual reaction. Then we build this reaction in microfluidic devices, which can be paper microfluidics or plastic microfluidics. So when the shark antibody gets in contact with the biomarker of the patient in the device, they generate this visual reaction, and the visual reaction is evaluated by using software, an app in your smartphone that runs image analysis processes and artificial intelligence algorithms to give you the result in your screen in just a few seconds. And this information, along with contextual information like geolocation, date, and time, is sent to a cloud server, and you can use it for real-time disease surveillance or to create, for example, APIs to take this information to other resources like electronic record from the patients. We have a business model that is different from normal diagnostic technology startups. So we are working using model we call diagnostics platform as a service. Here, we work directly with key users like pharmaceutical companies, the governments, the healthcare organizations, and we develop a specific tests over our platform that solve a challenge that these organizations have. So this is a very important example of this is the project that we have with Sanofi. We go directly from the design of the test, development, clinical validation, performance, we manufacture the test, and we ship this test directly to the user to be used at their own operations. One of the examples of something that we have done over this platform is a test for detecting antigens in saliva samples for coronavirus. So this test is already being deployed, and we are going to launch in Germany, Spain, Mexico, Chile, and Malaysia during the first quarter of this year. This test allows anyone to do the detection of antigen saliva samples anywhere at a very low cost, something that can be used at home directly because it doesn't require only like 3 or 4 steps to actually have the result of your antigen test directly from saliva sample. Of course, most of the work that we have been doing is in infectious diseases. However, we have a special interest in other kinds of applications, including chronic diseases, animal diseases, crop diseases also for agriculture, and even applications where there is no disease involved, like for example, detection of toxins, water quality, or allergens. Now, getting into the pilot project with Sanofi. So in this project, we are using our platform to develop a rapid test to support the detection of a viral disease by the direct patient at home. So it's something that you can use at home to be tested, have immediate result, and this can leverage the access to a specific medication on the portfolio of Sanofi in order to have it quicker at the beginning of the disease and be able to treat better the disease from the beginning. This is a test that right now we are starting the development of our technology platform. The goal is to have the technology ready during the second quarter of this year, the performance validation in the third quarter of this year, and have the FDA submission in the fourth quarter of 2021. With this, we want the possibility to deploy the test at the beginning of 2022. Some other milestones that we have for the current year is about the deployment at large scale of our coronavirus test and launching also a tuberculosis test that we developed thinking specifically in developing markets, mostly Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Africa, and increase, of course, the number of tests that we are working with customers over our platform. This is the founder team. We are 4 co-founders. This is actually our second start of working together. And we have been supported in this, in UNIMA by great organizations like, of course, Creasphere, but also Y Combinator, StarX from Stanford, the Google Acceleration Program, Endeavor, and Math Challenge in Boston. We have been also funded by the government of Canada, Google, also the government of Germany, and the National Bank of Development. And this is some of our current investors that have trusted in our capabilities to actually make a significant change in the way we are doing diagnostics right now. So in UNIMA, we have a very clear mission to help everyone to get a diagnostic everywhere, anywhere. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jose Luis. Really insightful, and it's great to see what you've done during the program together with Sanofi. We have one question, and that's also a question that came into my mind. You mentioned the platform is based on shark antibodies. I would say it's probably not the closest thing you think about whenever thinking about developing something in that space. So what are the specific characteristics about shark antibodies, and how do you come across them?
Okay, so yeah, I think it will be one of the first questions that always pop to mind. So why we're using shark antibodies? Shark antibodies are the smallest antibodies known in nature, and they have a specific trait that allows them to be completely heat resistant. So for example, you can boil shark antibodies, and when they cool down, you only lose between 8 to 5% of activity. So this is very important if you're thinking, for example, of diagnostic technology that you are going to develop to be used out of the traditional clinical setting. So you can, for example, ship this, let's say, to Africa, for example, to be used out of the major urban areas. So, for example, anyone can pack some of these tests and a smartphone, and you can do testing completely in very remote areas without any problem. So this increases the possibility and the likely to be doing diagnostics even in very difficult environments, and increase the reach of this diagnostic test in the world.
Okay, thank you very much. Makes complete sense. One of the questions is also, you mentioned Africa and that area, which is a little bit around the supply chain. So how do you distribute all these tests? And then that leads also to one other question. How many tests have you actually already deployed?
Okay, so in the supply chain, because we work from the beginning with the final users, let's say, for example, it can be healthcare organizations and NGO, etc. So we work with the current, let's say, supply chain that they have. So we can ship, for example, a product to the major hub of this organization, and we're using the same process, the same chain that they use for their own operations. So deploying directly to small scale clinics, etc. In the case, for example, of pharma, we're using the same approach. We are not going directly to the pharmacy, for example, to sell the test at the pharmacy, but actually we work with our customer and using their own network of, or let's say, the structure of the supply chain. Now, in terms of deployment, we have been doing, for example, in our first test that we were deploying was the TB test, the tuberculosis test. We were working before the coronavirus pandemic started. We were working in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, in Cameroon. We were starting in South Africa, in Indonesia, Mexico. And we had, unfortunately, we have to stop this because of the coronavirus pandemic. So what this way we are restarting later this year. And again, as I mentioned, with the coronavirus test, we are working in Germany, in Spain, in Chile, in Mexico, in Malaysia, and probably also even in Argentina, in the United States, very early in this year.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, and congratulations to that many countries far along the commercialization process.